Andreas, good morning.
Morning.
And welcome to Friction-Free Interview.
Thank you.
Could you please introduce yourself briefly?
Pleasure. So I've been now for 3 years at Microsoft here in Finland and responsible for the product portfolios, our marketing and communication agenda, as well as our business and sales operations. And when we talk about the business portfolio, obviously Microsoft is offering a very broad set of solution offerings. And it is now critical for us to identify some of the areas which are most critical for the coming weeks and months for customers to talk about and also to introduce.
Great, thanks. You have recently published a study about artificial intelligence. Could you please tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely, and kind of this is the study. We call it like uncovering AI in Finland.
Okay.
And the reason for initiating this work has been that there's a lot of discussion about artificial intelligence. And we wanted to make it more concrete.
Yes.
And we asked kind of PwC for help to have two different parts of the study. The first one is to an econometric modeling on what it would mean for a country like Finland.
Yes.
Like, what's the impact to the GDP? What's the impact to the overall wealth and the development part? And then there's a second part where we go in detail with specific companies. There were 20 in scope, where we know already they started something. And we wanted to make sure we go and discuss with them, okay, what are their findings? Where are they? What is difficult for them? And what is for them the biggest opportunity they see? And this is basically the core. We wrap it up with the next steps, right? So what would other companies, what should they do?
Yeah.
How to get started?
Yeah. What kind of findings did you find from these case companies?
So as I said, like the sample we picked is maybe not representative because all of them are already in the piloting or implementation mode.
Yeah.
But it was still interesting to see that many companies have difficulties to pinpoint a specific return on investment. Right? They understand that it's important, but there is a belief what is necessary so that companies really invest into some of the projects. Another area is the data management and utilizing the data, which is the core of artificial intelligence, is something where the biggest challenges are being seen across industries.
Yeah.
Right? And that's something where, especially on the data management, that there's one holistic view of available information. There we see the biggest gap currently, which also limits, obviously, then what you can get out of it, because you will kind of not be able to cross-reference and you will have a smaller sample with high-quality information.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. Did you, because our audience is the manufacturing industry and manufacturing ecosystem, did you find any specific findings from the manufacturing perspective, manufacturing ecosystem perspective?
Yeah, actually we did, because we looked at 5 different industries, and manufacturing was one of them.
Yeah.
So there were companies like UPM, or Stora Enso, or Kone, whom we interviewed. And we also looked at, for each of these industries, when would we expect the biggest benefit coming in? And manufacturing is slower in the next short term, but there's the biggest opportunity in a time period of maybe 3 to 5 years.
Okay, interesting.
Right? And when you kind of compare it with retail, retail already is now in full swing. Right? There is a lot of customer-facing applications. You have bots, you have certain logistics support, you have certain marketing and sales processes which are getting more automated and being embedded with artificial components. In manufacturing, we learned that because of the complexity of some of the machinery, of the specific processes, it's less scalable, right? That's why it will take more time. So in the short term, maybe not kind of the opportunity value as big, but this doesn't mean that we don't need to get started. It only means that we need to manage the expectations.
Exactly. What about what would be your tips? What to concentrate in artificial intelligence in 3 to 5 years, if you think from manufacturing companies' perspective? What should be taken in consideration?
I think it starts before going into AI. I think it really starts about what's the culture in a company, and that's why we talk a lot about the need for a digital culture, which is both a top management guidance, but also it's a real skill set of people who are tech savvy and who are also having the ambition or the kind of the vision to take it further. Yeah. So I think for manufacturing specifically, it is really important to build and enhance this digital culture. Yeah. And this means skill development plans, right? There is more and more open information available to be exposed to of what could be in cognitive services, yes, or what would be digital agents, or what would be machine learning capabilities. Without having internal people knowledgeable, it will be very difficult. Yeah. Right? Once you have this one, I think the next step is understanding what is the data sets, the information you really work with. Yeah. In manufacturing, again, I would focus on some specific processes first, where you have a clear set of data, a clear set of information you feel good about, and then gradually integrating other components to it. Yeah. Right? We see in general there's a big opportunity of going with second-party or third-party or open information. Let's take the example in manufacturing. If you are building machinery in forest industry, right, you want to have maybe spatial data, or you want to have climate data embedded, which can help you to kind of steer some of the process. Yes. Right? But you would not want to start with that one. You want to first start with the data set you have internally, yeah, right, to kind of ensure there is not kind of any mismatch, or there's something you need to calibrate first.
Yeah. Good. Thank you a lot, and it was a really pleasure to have a chat with you.
Thank you for having me.